Hello everyone. In previous lectures, we have seen all the sketcher tools and now we will start with part modeling in session 6. For that, first we will see the interface again here. So this is the unit setup here. We will select mmgs millimeter gram seconds. After that, here you will see UCS user coordinate system. This is the model tree area in which every feature and sketch will be saved. So you can access any feature and sketch as required and edit it. For editing, you can use model tree area here. So we'll start with plane selection. Now this time orientation of the object matters while plane selection. So you have to recognize which plane is appropriate for the particular orientation. So we'll select here top plane and say sketch. Now we'll go for rectangle. We will take center rectangle here. Now for any feature, maximum features we require the sketch should be enclosed so as to extrude boss or extrude cut. So now the sketch is enclosed one. We'll make some dimensions here. I'll say it as 420 and the second value we'll put here is 220. Now I'll make this sketch little bit inclined so as to recognize the direction of extrude. Then we'll go for feature command and then we will say first extrude boss feature. Now you can see in extrude boss feature, the first option coming here is direction. So here are the end conditions given. Some of the types of end conditions are given here. We'll go for blind. So in blind, it is up to user at what depth he want to extrude the part or feature. So I'll extrude this one as 180 here. You can see that extrusion has been taken place at upper side. Suppose if you want to reverse the direction of extrusion, say it as reverse. Again, if you want to reverse, click on the same option. Now suppose if I want to take this value 180 on both symmetric sides equally, then I can go for the change in end condition and say it as mid plane option. So in mid plane, this 180 value will be symmetrically divided on both the sides. I'll say it OK. Now the top plane is coming at middle of the part. It is very helpful in assemblies and features for mirroring. So it is better to keep this reference plane at center of the part. That's why it is preferable to take mid-plane option at first extrude boss. Suppose if you want to edit the feature again, say it as edit feature. I will again say it as blind option. Now I will go for direction 2. In direction 2, you can again extrude the item at other side of the sketch. I'll put here different value. I'll say it as 60 mm. So if you want the extrusions to be made on both sides but with non-symmetric extensions, so you can go for direction 2. I'll say it OK. Next we will go for extrude cut option here. For that we have to make one sketch. So we'll say the face as sketch instead of saying plane because these faces are nothing but planes only. So I'll go for this face and say sketch. After activating plane, I'll draw one sketch here. It is compulsory to define all these sketches. So I'll constrain this sketch by giving the values here. I'll say the height as 125. This length as 60 and 50 here. The last one as 50 only. And now the sketch is completely defined. So go for features command and then say extrude cut. I'll make this cut as 150 mm here. All the options in extrude cut will be similar to extrude boss command. Instead, it will cut the material. I'll say it OK. Now the material is been removed by using extrude cut feature. So all the features you can see are being saved here. This was boss extrude 1 and this was the cut extrude we have made right now. Next, there are multiple end conditions also given. So we will go one by one. For that, we'll make one sketch here on this face. We'll say it corner rectangle. Apply one dimension to define the sketch. Go for extrude boss. Select the end condition here. Now we will select up to vertex here. For that you need to show one vertex point. I'll show this vertex point here. So this extrusion will come up to level of this vertex point. Next option here, we will say it as up to surface. For up to surface, you need to show one surface here. So I'll show one surface as this one. So extrude boss will cover up the surface here. You don't need to give any value, it will level up by the surface again. Next, we will say offset from surface. I'll select this surface here. You have to provide one value, I'll say it as 25 mm. Now we have not given this extrusion value as 25, but we have given the difference value of this face and this face. So I'll say it okay. Now to check whether the difference was correct or not, I'll select both the faces by pressing Ctrl key. You can see the normal distance being appearing here as 25 mm. So this was the option offset from surface. Next, there are similar options in extrude cut also. For that we'll make one sketch here. I'll make one corner rectangle again. Fully define the sketch by giving the values. It is compulsory to constrain these sketches. You can either constrain it from origin or you can constrain it by selecting the edges of the body and then we are applying the dimensions. Now as the sketch is constrained, I'll go for extrude cut. Now in extrude cut, I'll say it through all. So the extrusion will come through all the body and when complete cut will be made throughout the body. You can see here. I'll undo this feature here and again I'll go for extrude cut for other end conditions. So I'll say it up to next. Up to next will also appear as through all. Up to next means it will take the cut till the next body. Next we'll go for up to vertex here. I'll say this as vertex point, this point. So it will level up the cut till the vertex point. I'll say it okay. Now you can see this cut is made till this vertex point. Next, again I will say edit feature. For editing any feature, you have to just select the option and say edit feature. If you want to edit sketch, then go for this edit sketch option as we have seen previously here. We'll go for edit feature now. We'll select up to surface. For up to surface, again you have to show one face here. So I'll select this face and the cut will be made coplanar with this face. So I'll say it okay. And now you can see this cut is matching to this face. We have not put any dimension here, any numerical value. It has been leveled up till this surface. This was up to surface. Now to understand the difference between up to surface and up to next, both are the end conditions. I have made one hexagon here and extruded it at some height. The position of hexagon taken here is 80 from this vertical edge and 80 from the horizontal edge. Now I'll say this face as sketch and draw one circle here. I'll give it one diameter. I'll say it as 50 mm diameter. Next, for center alignment, I will give it 80 mm length. as the center of this extrude was also at 80 mm from the horizontal distance. Then we'll put one vertical height here. I'll say it 40 mm. And now we will go for extrude boss. We'll reverse the direction here. Now I want to extrude it till this surface. So I'll say it up to surface. And select the surface here. We have seen it earlier also in this example here. But suppose if I select up to next, then it will grasp all the three faces of the hexagon. Whatever comes in between, the extrusion will grasp the shape. I'll say it OK. This was up to next command. Now in part modeling, we cannot be dependent only on these three planes, that is front, top and right. As the geometry of part becomes complicated, we may require more planes to be added to make the part from correct orientation. So I need one plane from the face, from this face, as at 200 mm distance parallel to the face. For that, I'll take one plane here. So to apply more planes, I'll go in this feature tabs, select the reference plane option, and now you can see at left side there are total 3 reference plane options given here. It means that you can call new planes either by 3 references or minimum 1 reference is required here. So I'll add this first reference as this face. As I need parallel plane to this face only, that's why I'm taking this face. Now select the distance you require. I'll put here the distance of 200 mm. Now you can see this face is the reference, first reference, and the distance we are taking here as 200 mm offset distance. And now one plane is appearing here. I'll say it OK. Suppose I want to flip the plane at other side, opposite side, so I can do it by flip offset. So it is coming at 200 only, but at the other side. I want it at front side again, so I'll make again this option, flip offset, and say it OK. You can see one more plane is added in model tree. It is showing here. Now you can use this plane as we have used this front, top and right plane. Similar way we can make it sketch and draw sketches here. We'll exit this sketch here. This was the method to apply the planes if you want a parallel plane from any particular flat face. Now I'll hide this plane. So to hide the plane, you can select the plane and say hide. Now I require one more plane here between these two faces here in middle. So I'll go for reference plane, select the plane option and go for the first reference as this face, and I'll add the second reference here as this face. You can see one plane is coming in mid of these two faces. You don't need to require to put up the values here. The plane will directly come as you select the first reference and second reference. I have selected the first reference as this face and second as this face. Just two faces are to be selected, then the third plane will come at between of these two faces. I'll say it OK. After saying OK, I'll make it sketch and draw one rib here. For that, I'll make one triangle here. I'll select this line. And now for this two line, I can directly use the convert entities option here. So in convert entities, you just need to select the edges here so as to convert them on the current sketch or plane. So I'll select one edge here, this one, and this second edge, this one, and say it OK. Now you can see that edges are converted into sketches. So I have one triangle here. As a close sketch, I'll go for features and extrude boss. In extrude boss, I'll select the mid plane option. Suppose if I select blind, then the thickness will come at one side only. I want symmetric side thickness, so I'll take it mid plane option here and say the thickness as 12 mm. I'll say it OK. Now the rib is between these two faces. Now I will hide these planes after working. So to hide the plane, just select the plane and say it hide. You can also do it by selecting in model tree area, select the required plane and say them hide. The planes which are hidden, the icon will show in white color, and the plane which are being shown, the icon will be shown in blue color. So in this way you can judge which plane is hidden in model tree. Now one more condition we will see here is boss extrude, and in boss extrude there is one option given there, merge result. So for that merge result I have made two sketches here, sketch 4 and sketch 5 on this body. I'll hide this sketch 5 option for now and extrude this sketch 4. Here one extrusion is been made and you can see the result showing here is merge on. It means that both the boss extrudes are merged with each other, combined with each other so as to make one body. I'll say it okay. You can see the number of bodies showing here is 1 and both the boss extrude are combined with each other. There is no edge formation between these two boss extrudes. That is separating the body. Now I'll put on this sketch 5 here. I'll show this sketch 5 again. And now again I'll go for extrude boss. Select this sketch. But this time I'll make one change here. That is I'll put off this merge option here. So now both the boss extrudes are not merged with each other. This means that this body is separate and this feature is separate. I will say it okay. Now you can also see one edge formation between these two bodies here, showing that this is a separate body and these two combined are one body here. That's why it is showing the number of bodies here as 2. So when you put off the merge option, any feature that is boss extruded will be a separate body. So this was merge result option for you. So for now, for the part modeling exercise, I will refer this model here. You can see this bottom plate. We will start with the bottom plate first. Now the orientation of this rectangle is given from top side. So we'll start it from top plane. I'll select top plane here. Select the sketch and put up the values here. I'll say it as a rectangle, center rectangle. This value as 75 and the other value is given as 56 mm here. So I'll put up the value as 56 here. Now the extrusion is given 18. After that we'll make these holes here of diameter 12. So we'll go with features, extrude boss and say this extrusion as 18 mm with blind end condition. I'll put the blind condition here as blind and say it okay. Next, I'll make this cutout here. I'll draw one corner rectangle first. I'm going for this cutout now. So the sizes given here are 32 by 6. Select the smart dimension option. I'll put up the value as 32 and height as 6 mm. I also need to make this rectangle symmetric so as to constrain this movement. For that I'll make one center line and I'll say both the sides of rectangle symmetric to this line. The relation applied here is symmetricity and say it okay. Now as this position of rectangle is constrained, it is fully defined, we'll go for the end condition as through all so as to make this cut as through all through the body. So I'll go with features as extrude cut and say the end condition as through all. Say it okay. Now we'll go for these two cuts now. So the position here given as 28 and here the horizontal distance it is given as 15 mm. So I'll draw one circle here. Now this distance is given as 15 and the vertical distance is given as 28. Diameter here is given as 12. I'll mirror this sketch. Select the mirror entities entities to mirror, I will take this circle here and then mirror about this line. You can also go for feature mirror. For that, I'll undo this sketch, the other circle. First, I'll make extrude cut here. Features, extrude cut. End condition again I'll say through all and say it okay. Now you can mirror this cut extrude feature on the other side. So for that we will require one center plane here. So we can see the front plane, top plane and right plane. The right plane is coming in center so as to mirror this feature here. So we'll go for mirror command. Now there are two mirror commands. First we have seen in Sketcher. This was mirror entities. But in features, only mirror feature is given here. So I'll select the feature first. Then it will ask for plane. I'll go for right plane and then apply the feature I want to select. I'll say this as cut extrude 6. I want to mirror this feature. Select the feature and say OK. Now you can see this feature has been mirrored here at the opposite side. Now your base plate is complete. Now we will start with this cylindrical feature. For that, the vertical height is given as 63 and horizontal as 100 mm. The 63 height is been given here from the base of the part. So I'll select the reference plane here. For the first reference, I'll select the base and put up the value here as 63. Say it OK. I need to reverse this plane orientation, so I'll say it as flip offset and say OK again. Now select the plane and activate the sketch. We'll make two circles here. Now the orientation of circle center is aligned with the center of the rectangle plate. We'll put up the values here. The outer rectangle is of diameter 36 and the inner rectangle is inner circle is of 22. We'll match the orientation from center. I'll say it as vertical and then put up the value here. This value was given as 100 mm and now the sketch is completely defined here. We'll go for features and boss extrude. It will by default consider the inner circle also and then it will extrude boss. We'll say the end condition as blind and put up the value here. You can see this boss extrude is made by 25 mm here. So I'll go for 25 mm value and say it OK. I'll hide this plane. We will go for this rib feature now. We will make this rib feature in two parts. First one will be this projection and then second is inclined portion. For that we will calculate the distance here. So the distance here from the side of the rectangle was given as 100 mm and we have to make this rectangular profile now. For that starting rectangular profile we'll minus this 36 from 100 and take one plane here. So we'll start with SolidWorks. Go on reference plane option, select the face, we'll put up 64 value and reverse the direction of plane and say it OK. Now activate the plane and draw one corner rectangle. We'll make this rectangle constraint. Put the value here as 12. Now I'll make this rectangle symmetric from center line. I'll draw one line, select the sides of the rectangle and apply relation as symmetric with center line. Now this rectangle is made fully constrained. We'll go for extrude boss command. Apply the end condition as up to next here. We'll say first blind, reverse the direction and then say up to next. So it will accumulate the curve shape here. Now we'll say it OK. Again for the mid portion, I'll hide this plane and select the mid plane here. Activate the plane. Now we will draw some lines here. First we will take this line, and now to enclose this profile we can also go for line command as we are drawing this line, but I'll show you one more option here, that is convert entities. We will select this edges and say them as convert entities, both the edges. These edges will be converted into sketches now. Then we'll select one more line here till this entity. Next, again you need to close this profile. For that, again we'll go for convert entities, select the edges and convert them to sketches. So now the closed profile has been completed here. We'll go for features and extrude boss. We'll apply the end condition as mid plane so as to divide the value 12 mm symmetric on both sides and say it OK. Now here the part has been completed. We'll arrange it in isometric view. For that we'll go in view orientation option here and say it as isometric. And now for appearance, we will right click the part, select the appearance option. Here you can give appearance according to faces, features, body and part. So we will select part option here. At left side, multiple colors will appear. So whatever appearance you require, you can apply here. I'll apply this appearance here and say it OK. And now the part has been completed. So this was the session on part modeling, extrude boss and extrude cut. We will continue other features in next lecture. Till then, thank you.